Hey everyone, Derek here with a short pre-analysis of the Super Mario Odyssey trailer, and you can definitely expect a full-blown analysis for this trailer in the coming days, but for now we wanted to get some quick observations about this trailer and what the game might have to offer, or just some Easter eggs that we noticed that are kind of cool. And right off the bat we see that this city is called New Donk City, which sounds like a strange name until you see a sign for Dixie Street right next to it. So obviously this is Donkey Kong based, and this is going to be reinforced throughout the trailer, but we're going to take this chronologically. And if you look up in the sky in this scene, you can actually see some kind of raft leaving a trail in the sky. And we're going to come back to that because what that is answered as well. In addition, the city's crossing signals are made up of question blocks and even has a question mark light. So even though this is a city with real people, this is very much in line with the Mario world and what Mario can do. Another sign of this? There's a sign for Diddy's Mart, so if you want to go shopping, make sure to get it from Diddy. In addition, there's some classic Donkey Kong references here. A license plate shows 1981, which is the same year Donkey Kong was released. But it's not just Donkey Kong stuff on the billboards, at least we don't think so. There's other billboards that shows various things that we can't quite interpret yet, but in the background here we can see some kind of mushroom that may be a golden mushroom. It's really hard to tell, but it's definitely mushroom shaped on this billboard. What it could mean? Hard to say. However, we do get to see more street signs, including Cruel Street, or K. Rool Street, and Ramby Street, in addition to Espresso Street. So yeah, Donkey Kong vibe going all over here, but it's really cool to see them referencing King K. Rool, Espresso, Ramby, who was in the latest game, but none of the other animal friends. And continuing that Donkey Kong vibe, when Mario is wall jumping, we can see Donkey Kong girders in the background, as well as letters below that saying to jump. Or, you know, Mario should be a jump man. In addition, another scene shows the sky raft in the background along with more of those Donkey Kong girders. And the city that you can explore that we saw from ground level is high up into the air. And what's really interesting is that you look at the roads that the taxis are traveling on, it's almost as if this section of the city is warped, because we can kind of see the roads bend to go straight down this area. So it's almost like they're just going to loop around. Now granted, we don't see any cars actually following along this, so it's really hard to say whether or not they'll just loop down along with the road or they'll just stop, but the road does seem to continue on at that point. Finally, we get a good look at the raft, and it shows just a hat that Mario is riding along in, and it seems to be his method of travel from place to place. What's interesting is that we have a classic Mario flag on one end, which might mean it's the goal, or maybe you just touch it in order to enter the hat, or something of that matter, but the more interesting aspect is that there's a globe right next to it, and if you look at the continents, they don't match up with the actual world at all. So while the city is realistic, it's not taking place on Earth, at least according to this globe. But it does seem to indicate that this is a globe-trotting adventure for Mario. Continuing on, we have a forest section where we can see some coins at the top of a tree, and it's very obvious at that point that Mario will likely be able to climb the tree like any other flagpole in order to get those coins. Another of the worlds is food-based, and matching that food theme, we actually see a Hammer Brother wearing a chef hat and throwing cooking pans rather than hammers or boomerangs, so enemies are getting some variations based on the world they're in. It's pretty cool. Of course, there are plenty of animations on display as well, but one of the more subtle ones that you may have missed, or maybe not, is that Mario's cheeks puff out when underwater from holding his breath. So we can actually extrapolate from that and assume that the breath meter is back from Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy, those types of games, rather than the 2D games where Mario can hold his breath indefinitely. Now, one of the moves we see Mario performing is throwing his hat and allowing it to come back toward him. But it looks like he's not actually the first one to get this power, as Bowser can do the hat flip too. He throws his hat and the scene kind of shifts as the camera is kind of panning along with the hat, which is an indicator that, you know, we're actually following the hat. And if we had to guess, it looks like Bowser threw the hat, it missed Mario, but it curved back around and actually hit Mario, knocking him from the airship, which is why Peach is calling out to him. So it just goes to show that Bowser's doing something when it comes to these hats. And hats are definitely a major part of this game, as even the tanks near the billboard for Bowser's wedding have top hats. And the rabbits that we see riding a small airship are definitely enemies as well, as Mario is fighting one that spews poison. So this is just my own extrapolation, but each of these bunnies are wearing a suit and a hat very much like Bowser, so I almost wonder if they're the ones behind all this, or maybe they gave Bowser some kind of power. It's really hard to say. But before we end this off, there is two more street signs to point out, and that's Cranky Street and Squawks Park as part of the new Donk City. So yeah, there's a ton of Donkey Kong references in here, there's a ton of references to other Mario games in here that we'll definitely take a closer look at as things calm down. But for now, those are the major secrets and Easter eggs that we could find in the Super Mario Odyssey trailer. It's looking like a pretty great game, but let us know what you saw in the trailer that we didn't mention here. There's obviously a lot that we left out here. There's a bunch of stuff that I chose not to cover, mainly for time reasons, because otherwise I'd be doing a full analysis. But for now, just let us know what you think, and of course stay tuned to Game Explained for much more on the Switch reveal, Super Mario Odyssey, and other things gaming. Till next time, bye!